Hello everybody, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube. Be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for everything Royal Caribbean related. And today we are talking about how to choose a cruise ship cabin. We are recording this video live on our YouTube channel. We do this every Friday. So come join us on YouTube, subscribe, so that way you don't miss out on any of the fun. And we're talking about cruise ship cabins. Let's start with the basics when choosing a cabin for your Royal Caribbean cruise. There are 4 kinds of rooms: inside, outside, balcony, and suites. Inside rooms are rooms that are just an interior room. They usually have no views or no natural light, let's put it that way. Sometimes they do have like screens or fancy things, but we won't get into that. They're interior rooms. They're among the cheapest, but they're also the smallest, but they're also, the price is right. You have outside views or ocean view rooms. These are just like interior rooms, but they're a little bit bigger, and usually you have some sort of a window or porthole that allows you to look out and see, have not only natural light, but a view of somewhere outside. It's a window, essentially. Then you have balcony. Balcony rooms are very popular. Balcony rooms are a regular room, again, larger than the interior or ocean view, typically in terms of square footage. And in addition, you have a private balcony there to be able to enjoy at your leisure. A lot of people love this idea because you get to just go out there whenever you like, enjoy the view. Some Royal Caribbean ships have balconies that don't actually face the ocean. They face inside the ship. Central Park and boardwalk rooms actually face a neighborhood. It's kind of a little different, but still have a private balcony. And then, of course, you have suites. These are the larger cabin, often with separate living and sleeping areas, and a wide variety of extra amenities and perks. And it's just like first class on an airplane. It is really a great way to treat yourself and enjoy that. So let's talk about the things to consider when you're picking a cabin on a ship board. Number 1, location, location, location. Just like real estate, where your room is located may or may not be a big factor in terms of what you want to look for, right? No matter the type of room we're talking about here, where your room is located can sometimes be, there are considerations, right? If it's too close to a public venue, perhaps there's some noise bleed associated with it. Perhaps if it's too far forward, too far aft, sometimes some people are a little more sensitive to motion and can have issues there. But really, you got to do your homework here and understand where your room is, what is in proximity to. I often tell people, more importantly, besides the things I mentioned, which aren't really that important, just the typical things people always bring up, I think it's more important when you're looking at location to figure out what is your room close to or not close to in terms of how you like to cruise. Like, are you going to spend a lot of time by the pool? Well, maybe your room should be closer to there. Are you somebody who's going to be having kids and maybe you want to have a room closer to Adventure Ocean, which is the kids club area, right? It's a lot easier to be able to do that. So again, you kind of, where your room is can certainly be a factor. That's number 1. Number 2 is distance, where your room is from other things. Again, sun worshipers may prefer an upper room location that's close to the pools and sun decks, while somebody who maybe is more of a partier wants something a little closer to the entertainment hubs on there. So consider that as well. Now, if you are sensitive to motion sickness or you think you might be, certainly you want to pick, in my opinion, a lot of people say this as well, you want to be in a room that is mid-center on a lower deck. If you're really worried about it, certainly those type of rooms have the least amount of movement or sensation of movement anyway, and it's definitely we want to avoid, if you are sensitive to that, would be the very front or the very back. In terms of noise, I don't really worry too much about noise. It's pretty well buffered. I've only had that one cruise. I had an incident with that. But obviously, if you are worried about it, you have young kids, perhaps you should not pick a room that is close to a entertainment venue of some kind. Now let's talk about cabin amenities and what you get in your room, right? If you're staying in I wish I was staying in a spa. If you're staying in a suite, then you may have access to concierge service. Concierge service is basically a crew member who is dedicated to making the lives of those who are staying in a suite that much easier, right? They can book shore excursions for you, make requests of the front desk, make dinner reservations, book the spa I mentioned earlier, really make your life easier. Concierge is a really, really nice option that's offered to you. In addition, by staying in a suite, you'll have access to some exclusive areas on board the ship, perhaps a dedicated suite lounge, perhaps a dedicated area on the pool deck just for suite guests. You may also get priority embarkation, priority disembarkation, priority tendering if your ship does that. There's a lot of neat things that come with that. Now, of course, I would argue, of all of the considerations when we're talking about staterooms, is cabin size. I really feel like this, we've talked about a lot of things, but I really feel like cabin size is the most important factor. And that is how much space you actually have to live in and stay in while you're on your cruise. And I'll tell you, there are a lot of considerations, but really you've got to figure out what you're comfortable with, and cabin size is a big part of it, right? You know, the inside rooms, the interior rooms, whether you're talking about interior or even an ocean view room, are on the smaller side. But of course, the price works out a whole lot better for those. Whereas balcony and suites can offer you a lot more living space. But again, that's going to come at a price, literally. So, you know, you got to consider all those things in mind. But a basic cabin, regardless of category, is referred to as standard unless there's something about it that makes it different, like the physical layout, being handicap accessible, or perhaps a family cabin of some kind, right? But when you get up to about junior suites and above, right, so junior suites, grand suites, owner suites, royal suites, then you get a lot more indoor and outdoor spaces. And for a lot of people, the decision on what size cabin to get is really related to price. Like, we'd all prefer to think we're taking into consideration all these other things, but really, money makes the world go around, right? Who wouldn't go for the huge suite if price was no obstacle? Well, it can be tricky to decide whether a balcony is worth the upgrade from a standard outside or which suite to choose from. But you definitely want to consider a couple things when you're looking at whether to go through a bigger room, a more expensive room. Number one is outdoor space. Do you need a balcony? That's a really good one to start with, good spot. Because are you going to be spending a lot of time in your room? If you're on a 3 or 4 night cruise, how much time are you really going to be spending in your room, you know, and out on the balcony? For me, the answer is almost always none to little. So a balcony is kind of overkill for that regard. So how important is outdoor space? Number 2 would be unique layouts. Perhaps if you're looking for a family room or more space to spread out, then certainly some of those other bigger rooms, the suites and the balconies, may be of a consideration to you. Also, solo cabins. Royal Caribbean does have some rooms that are designed for solo travelers. These are studio rooms, and they're designed for someone who's going cruising by them.